Previously on Automotive Tales.
So that went well. As you can see, I am not in the Rolls-Royce. I managed to get the car started, and almost as soon as I did, we had the same fault as last time, where the ignition just cut out completely. Car is dead, apart from interior lights and the little warning light in the centre console. Right, it's a bit of a sketchy video because I'm using a torch to illuminate myself, but we are back playing with the Rolls-Royce. So Duane thinks he might know what the problem is. So we're going to have a little tinker around, see if we can actually get the car running. Then we don't need to trailer it all the way up to his workshop. We could drive it. So let's have a look, see where the ignition even comes on. Right. So doing it right from off the bat. So you can see there's nothing on that at all. Now, sometimes it comes on. So last time when I tried to move it to bring it up to you, it came on. I turned the car over a few times, didn't start. So I turned it off again, went to start it. It turned over 3 or 4 times and then just cut out completely. Let's see, leave it on for a second. So this is what it did when it broke down a couple of weeks ago, is it was just dead, there was nothing. And the following morning when I came back, I did that and it allowed me to start the car and I moved it over to here. But I've not been able to start it since. But yeah, it's just, there's absolutely nothing. But you can see, obviously, interior lights and stuff are on.
Yeah.
So there's definitely power.
There's nothing to the ignition.
No. But even when there is, it was fine. And then occasionally it would just give up. If I leave it in the run position, we'll know if anything happens. Because you'll hear the fuel pump kick in.
Yeah.
So, as you probably saw on that little bit of diagnosis, this time, unlike last time, we've not even got the ignition on at all. Definitely still got power in the car. So if I turn the light away, you can see interior lights and various other bits and pieces are on. But absolutely zip squat here. Not ideal. So yeah, that's the ignition switch out of the dashboard. A couple of screws to get the fascia off. And it's this huge, great big unit. So we're looking to see whether we can find out where there's a loss of power, or where there's a short or something that's not quite right. Okay, so I mentioned earlier in the video about a busbar. Well, that is what this little thing is here. So this links a couple of the terminals on the back of the switch, and it's obviously protected with this sort of plastic coating, etc. And this looks like one nice solid piece, but this isn't actually the one off the car. Duane is busy getting it off the switch right now, but he brought this as an example. What happens is it splits inside. So when it's pushed up against the other half of the buzz bar in there, it will allow you to bring ignition power on. But as soon as you put any sort of juice through that, it jumps ever so slightly and just air gaps. And these fail over time just with getting hot and cold. And that is almost certainly the problem. So, well, we're hoping that's the problem. So we're just going to get the one off the current switch, and hopefully we just need to order one of those or create a new cable to work as a buzz bar on the back of the switch. Can you believe it? That might be the root of all the problems we've been having with the failure to proceed. Amazing, isn't it? And you can see from the size of the man, I mean, it's a tiny little thing. Unbelievable. Right, fingers crossed that's the problem.
A few moments later.
Okay. We're not in the normal garage, but we are in my inside storeroom, which is a mess. Ignore this on here. And we have some good news. So I was just recording the bit to camera with this buzz bar, and we have no continuity through the one that's on my switch. So it's exactly the same failure, diagnosed over the phone and proved in person. Amazing. So what's the solution at this point? Do they still sell? Can you get these buzz bars, or just create a new wire that does the same job?
A new one, but I mean, stripping the whole lot down.
It is a complicated wee beast. Hold on, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You can sort of see. That is a hell of a thing. So yeah, you can see where this one, a little bit of yellow sheathing inside that switch. Obviously looks like somebody's been in there before. There's some fairly modern crimps.
Yeah, so they are.
Even those?
Yeah.
Even those ones? Oh,
so
right.
they are.
There you go then. Maybe it's not been tampered with before. Right, we're a few days down the line. We're back in the cabin of the Rolls-Royce, and here is the actual failed part that came out of my ignition switch. And there is a fully refurbished ignition switch, and there is a Duane who's just about to go and refit it all. Woohoo! We have ignition and it's running. Look at that. Amazing. And brake pressure building up. Do you want to put the headlights on and just flash the high beams from the stalk? Because that's what did it last time. Yeah, lovely. Just like that. Righto, as you can see, I am back in the Duchess once again, and you can probably hear she is running just beautifully. So I didn't get a chance to pick up the phone and do some recording this morning, but I have been to work. I have just returned from work. I actually went with a colleague who I lift share with, who sat in the back the whole way there and back. I even got my my hat out for the drive. So there's lots of people in Derby think there's some very important person wafting around in a Rolls-Royce with a chauffeur, which is a bit of fun. So yeah, the fix has worked. We've done a proper endurance test, so it's probably a good sort of 10-12 miles each way on my work commute, and she's been absolutely flawless. So thank you, a massive thank you to Duane, who went over and above to get me sorted in this instance by actually coming to the house, taking the ignition switch out, which he suspected was at fault, and he was correct, taking the part away, fixing it, and then bringing it back and reinstalling it on the driveway here at HQ 2.0, and now the car runs perfectly. So beautiful. Next stop is to get it up to him for a probably a quick once over, maybe a service. It's got to go in for an MOT. While it is technically MOT exempt, I need to get a fresh ticket on it so I can make it tax exempt. And there's one of the small fault which you probably can't hear. I can feel it, but you can't hear it. Is once the engine is properly warmed through, as it is right now, you can just hear it. The exhaust just slightly taps on something on the chassis, and it's really annoying. It's like a proper dag 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 dag. In fact, I'm going to put the camera underneath you here. 1 second. So yes, that annoying little rattle, as soon as you put any load on the engine or change the rev slightly, it goes away. But yeah, once the exhaust is properly hot, it's constantly just rattling away. So we need a small adjustment there to make that go away, because, well, it sounds horrible. It's doing quite a lot now. It's very annoying. Right, time for me to go back to the garage, and I've got some tool sorting to do. So let's go have a look at the garage. So in the process of sorting my workshop, I've gone and got a new toolbox, which I bought after work because we drive right past Costco. So we've got this massive 16 drawer tool chest from Costco, which is great. Except there was 3 of us when we arrived at Costco in the car. So I've got to leave my brother-in-law in Derby and get that out of the car and then come back for him. Whoops. So I managed to get all the shopping out, but just so you can kind of see, it only just fits. It also weighs about 100 kilos. That was hard work getting that there. This is proving relatively challenging. I've had to use my zoom lens so that I get a bit more light, because it's quite dark out here, but you can see I've got it halfway out. This is not a small cabinet. And also a bit of a cat in the car. Moon, get out. So in the cold light of day, we can actually now see what this almighty box that I'd squeezed in the car was. So Kirkland signature, you might recognise that if you're a Costco member. This is Costco's finest, but actually it's really rather an awesome looking toolbox. So yes, that should hopefully combine all the other multitude of toolboxes I have lying around. Which, now we're without car in the garage for a change, you can see I have a toolbox here. I have a workbench full of tools. That's not actually my toolkit, that brings to my brother-in-law. And the toolbox down there, another toolbox down there. That will probably stay as it is. That isn't my toolbox, but that is also my toolbox. So trying to sort, oh, and there's 2 little toolboxes down there as well, and another little one just there. So yes, trying to sort all of that out will be satisfying, but pretty hard work, I suspect. And as you can see, the fleet is all just sitting here waiting for summer, although we have had quite a few nice days. Don't think we're quite ready yet, but I cannot wait to get the cabriolet out, which is tucked all the way over there. and start working on the beast.
Okay, that's all for this episode. We will pick up sorting out the monster toolbox next time. In the meantime, as you'll see, some pictures of some very rusty bits of motor vehicle. Well, this is actually my other Volvo 850. I need to do a proper update and a bit of a history on this car. I've owned it for longer than I've owned even the yellow T5R, but is now slowly going through a restoration to come back onto the road. Is going to be my daily driver, and then the yellow Volvo will follow suit and we'll go through a similar refresh and restoration program.
Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching. That is very satisfying.